Welcome to The Explainer. You know that feeling, right? Staring at an AWS bill and wondering where to even begin. Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to demystify EC2 pricing and give you a super clear, actionable guide to slash those cloud costs. So let's just dive right in with the million-dollar question. This is the one that keeps every cloud engineer up at night. But as we're about to see, the answer isn't just picking one magic bullet. Exactly. It's not about finding the one single best price. It's about finding the right price for the right job. And today, we're going to find it together by climbing what I like to call the cost savings ladder, one model at a time. Every ladder has a first step, right? And in the world of AWS pricing, that's on demand. This is our flexible starting point, the baseline that we're going to compare everything else against. Think of this like a utility bill for your compute power. You pay only for what you use, literally down to the second, with absolutely no strings attached. It's total flexibility, but that flexibility does come at a premium price. On-demand is the perfect tool for uncertainty. I mean, think about it. Spinning up a server for a quick test, handling a sudden, totally unexpected traffic spike, or just figuring out what you need right after a big migration. For any kind of unpredictable workload, this is your go-to. Okay, now let's climb that first rung of the savings ladder. This is where things get incredibly cost-effective, but only if you can handle a little bit of uncertainty. Yeah, you are seeing that right, up to 90% off the on-demand price. That is not a typo, it's the massive, massive discount you can get with something called spot instances. So how is that even possible? Well, here's the secret. You're basically bidding on AWS's spare, unused server capacity. It's an incredible deal, getting all that compute power for pennies on the dollar. But that huge discount comes with one very important catch. And here it is. This is the risk. If AWS needs that capacity back for, say, a full-price on-demand customer, they can reclaim it at any time. They'll give you a quick 2-minute warning to wrap things up and shut down. And that is precisely why Spot is an absolute game changer for fault-tolerant workloads. Think massive data processing jobs or video rendering. If one of your instances gets pulled, the job just picks up on another one. The work is designed to be interruptible, so it's no big deal. All right, let's climb a little higher up that savings ladder. Now we're getting into the world of commitment, where we trade some of that on-demand flexibility for guaranteed deep discounts. This is really the modern way to save. You're not committing to a specific machine. You're just promising AWS you'll spend, say, $10 per hour on compute. And in exchange for that predictable spend, they give you a discount of up to 72%. Pretty great, huh? So the choice here is actually pretty simple. If you need ultimate flexibility to change instance families or regions, or even use other services like Fargate and Lambda, you go with a compute savings plan. But if you know for sure you're sticking with, say, the C family of instances in one region, you can squeeze out a slightly better discount with an EC2 instance savings plan. Now, before savings plans came along, there were reserved instances. And while savings plans are pretty much the go-to choice for EC2 these days, RIs are still super important, especially for other services like databases and for one very specific crucial feature. Okay, here's the fundamental difference you have to get. A savings plan is a flexible financial commitment. You're committing to a dollar amount per hour. A reserved instance, on the other hand, is a rigid commitment to a specific piece of hardware. And this is the most important takeaway. Only RIs can guarantee you capacity, making sure a specific instance type is always available for you whenever you need it. Okay, enough theory. Let's put all this knowledge to the test. Let's see how it applies with some rapid-fire, real-world scenarios. So you've got this very short, predictable task. It runs, it disappears. There's no long-term need for it at all. What do you choose? Yep, it's gotta be on demand. A 1- or 3-year commitment makes absolutely 0 cents for a 10-minute job. Paying by the second is the clear, logical, and by far the most cost-effective winner here. Okay, you get that 2-minute warning we talked about, but what actually happens next? Do you just lose all your work? Does it just vanish into thin air? Well, here's the cool part. You actually have control over what happens. While the default action is to just terminate the instance, you can configure it to stop, which saves your data on its disk, or even hibernate, which saves everything in its memory. This lets your workload pick up right where it left off.
Okay, let's bring all of this together. Here is your final cheat sheet, the playbook you can use to make smarter, more cost-effective decisions in your own environment.
This table right here, this is your ultimate guide. Pause here if you need to. Seriously, it lays out the core trade-off for each model. You're always balancing cost, flexibility, and commitment. And you know the real pro tip? The most cost-effective setups don't just pick one. They use a hybrid strategy. Savings plans for the predictable stuff, on-demand for spikes, and spot for any interruptible jobs. Look, if you remember just one thing about the commitment models, let it be this. Savings plans are designed to adapt to your changing needs. With reserved instances, you have to adapt to the rigid commitment you've made. It's all about flexibility.
So now you have the playbook. The real question is, which workloads in your environment can you optimize today? Take a look at your setup, identify those patterns, and start climbing that cost savings ladder.